did it. I did it. I did it. Fill it up, come on. Yes. Look what I have created. I have made water. I have made water. The title of this video may be shocking, but it's also true. A lot has been going on here in the past few weeks and months in the fish cave. I've been very busy making some big changes. And with that being said, this is officially the last tour of the fish cave as we know it. We're upgrading. I just got all these 20-gallon long tanks, and what we're gonna do is switch up this rack system so that the tanks run long ways so we can fit more gallons on the auto water change system. So there's gonna be a lot to come. As you can see, we got a lot of new tanks to cover. I told you guys I've been busy, but let's get to the tour and take a look at what new has changed and get a nice look at the final tour before things get switched upside down. Really excited with this tank, guys. These are the Japanese rice fish. These are the platinum variety. These are the ones I actually got from Hawaii as juveniles, and I've been growing them out. You'll see the ones I got as eggs. They're over here. But we have two different strains. This is the first strain, the platinum variety that we purchased as juveniles, and they're doing great. No babies so far. Kind of rearranged this tank. If you guys have been watching for a while, you'll see some of the fish that we're moved out of this tank, like clown loaches and stuff. We'll get to those later in the tour. Here are some of the adult hillstream loaches, and then we also have some babies. We're lucky, we think at least 3 baby hillstream loaches in here. So really excited for the future plans of this tank. Just gonna be growing them out. I'm hoping to get a few more babies this year. I also added some blue cherry shrimp to this tank. So it's kind of a unique combination of 3 fish or 2 fish and a shrimp, but they all kind of don't mind the cooler waters. There's no heater in this tank. I don't keep a heater in most of my tanks, but definitely not in this tank because hillstream loaches, rice fish, and the cherry shrimp don't care. They like it cool. So this is the 55-gallon tank. All the fish and the shrimp in here, the goal is to breed, and that's going to be the goal of a lot of these tanks you see. This right here is a spawning mop of dwarf rainbow eggs. They haven't hatched yet, so we're hopefully they'll hatch soon. These are some super red bristlenose plecos that'll be shipped out here. I'm fasting them right now to be shipped. This is a tank. It's not in the rack system, but this tank is going to switch up. I've decided to move on from the Corys. I've had these guys for a while, and it is a breeding group. It's like 5 or 6 of these panda Corys. I've had babies once before, but the reality is I'm just not passionate enough about these Corydora species to, you know, harvest the eggs and go through the motions. I'm really enjoying the Plecos and the guppies, as you'll see. Got a lot more guppies coming, but just gonna be switching up. I only have these 2 species of Corydoras, but this may be the last time, probably the last time you'll see them. Definitely still love Corys. Probably will keep Corys in the future, but really want to switch things up to breeding, and don't think I'm going to be breeding Corydoras. Speaking of breeding, these 440 breeders are all grow out tanks. If we take a look in these top tanks, these are the calico, marble calico. They almost look like super reds, but if you look closely, they have kind of a little of a marbling pattern or, you know, some brown to them. So these are the calicos. As they get older, they'll each kind of develop a distinguished, unique kind of pattern. And they'll stay fairly bright orange with some different dark spots. I grabbed a flashlight to see if it will help a little bit since I don't run lights on these tanks. There's a little bit of an older calico right there. Still not necessarily breeding age, but starting to claim the cave potentially. So I got the calicos in these top 2 tanks. And on the bottom row of 40 breeders, we have some lemon blue-eyed Pleco grow outs. As you can see, I fed some green beans a little earlier today. In this tank is another strain of guppies. These are a English red double swordtail. And as you can see, there's Dad in the back with the super long swords. But his offspring, his boys are looking pretty colorful themselves. These will be listed on wildfishtanks.com in limited quantities, but this is a fish that I'm really excited to be able to, you know, provide and bring to market because, in my opinion, this is my favorite guppy right now, the English red double swordtail. But the lemon blue eyes are doing well here. These guys are available right now. They're about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. And in the tank next door is some more lemon blue eyes with some blue mystery snails. As you can tell, that tank is super dark. I don't normally run lights on any of these tanks. Just move this one over here because it helps out for the video. But plenty of lemon blue eye Pleco grow outs. And then across the way over here, we have some breeding pairs, but also some future breeders. These are my long fin lemon blue eyes, as you can see, kind of scurrying in the background. But these are lemon blue eyes with super long fins. Beautiful, beautiful strain. Excited to bring these, make these available soon. Have not had a batch yet, although I keep seeing two Plecos in here, and I'm pretty sure one's a male. Not sure if the second one is a female, but I'm really excited to start bringing some long fins and make them available. And there are also some of the other variation of rice fish in here. These are the gold ones. As you can see, they're not as platinumy. They're kind of a little more yellowy gold. And I'm looking forward to kind of growing these guys out as well. Moving next door to this next 10-gallon. These are all 10 gallons for the most part in this row. There's a 5 and a 2.5, but for the most part, these are 10-gallon tanks that I breed my bristlenose Plecos in. This one is also home to some stir-by Corys. These stir-by Corys, kind of like the panda Corys, beautiful fish, love them. I have not bred these yet, although I'm almost positive I have a breeding group. But once again, gonna move on from these fish and focus some more on the Plecos, the shrimp, the guppies, that kind of thing. Beautiful fish, but probably the last time you're gonna be seeing them here. And this one, you will be seeing again in the future. These are some of the Apistos. These are a steel blue Apisto. I've been told that this strain is kind of like a hybrid, and they're hard to breed, or they might not breed, so we'll see. But Apistos is something I want to dabble into and you know, work my way into that. Right now, I am a novice with Apistos. I'm still a novice with a lot of stuff. These are some lemon blue-eyed Plecos, the short fin variety. I'm not sure if Papa is on eggs right now. Let's take a look though. He could be. No, looks like nothing yet, but there's two females. There's a female back there, a female behind the cave. So there's a trio in here. So it should be any time now before these guys have another batch. I also have some these little tiger endlers in here, and I'm growing these guys out. These guys aren't available yet, but they will be here fairly soon. Just growing out and getting the numbers up. Next over is a scud tank. The light went out on this tank, but the only thing in here is my culture of scuds. You can kind of see them scurrying around, but I use these to feed some of the fish I have that like they're like live foods. We'll get to them in a little bit. Over here, more Plecos, more Apistos. These guys are a Hongslai, Apistogramma Hongslai. That is a beautiful male right there. I'm hoping I have at least one female. There's 4 fish in here, and I'm not sure if that one is a female or that one's a female. They could also be just kind of like sleeper males and not be colored up as much as this dominant male. But we'll see. Excited to probably move these guys into their own 20 long once we situate the rack system. These Apistos and those Apistos will get their own 20 long, and won't have to share a tank with these Plecos anymore. They're fine. They do fine together, but to get these guys breeding, I want to start dropping some peat moss in here and lowering the pH and playing around with the water parameters a little bit. So definitely want to set them up by themselves. Moving over, this is another lemon blue-eyed Pleco breeding tank. This is the pair in here. I don't think this, actually yes, I do think this guy's on eggs. Is he on eggs? No, he's not. Not on eggs. Oh, that's right. This I gotta come back. I took eggs out of here not too long ago. There's a little tiny baby right there, and I have to catch him or her out and move her over to a grow out tank. Normally what I do is when I see the eggs in the cave, I'll wait till they're free swimming, but before they get out of the cave, and I'll transfer them. In this case, I waited a little too long and the little guy got out, but that's okay. Another breeding tank here, another calico breeding tank, nothing crazy going on in here. There's one lone Daisy's rice fish, and then there's some kind of, there's some shrimp in here that are just like a wild type Neocaridina, which are pretty cool in their own right. They don't have as much color, they're not red or anything, but they kind of get this browns and greens. So pretty neat. Over here, I stole their light. Let's give it back to them. These are the gold ocelotus shell dwellers. And as you can see, there's one hanging out there, kind of claiming a cave. There's another one over here. These guys are super cool, really active. I've noticed fry from them once, and then I had them situated. I didn't own this breeder box. By the time I got the breeder box, all the fry disappeared. So I'm hoping that we'll get some fry again soon, because it would be really cool to breed these Lake Tanganyikan shell-dwelling cichlids. Speaking of Lake Tanganyikan cichlids, look at that segue. These are not shell dwellers. We're going to get to some more grow-out tanks and some discus. Yes, we have discus now in a minute. But let's take a look at this 125. This is the biggest tank in the fish cave. This 125 here. There are some Lalupi, these lemon cichlids, these yellow Lalupi lemon cichlids. 7 or 8 of them in here. They're growing out. Hopefully they'll be a breeding age pretty soon. These guys grow pretty slow and they take a little bit to get of age, but once they get going, they should be going pretty good. The other cichlid in here is the daffodil cichlid, the one that's kind of got the streamers. It's like yellow and blue. Those are a daffodil cichlid. They're kind of like a Bachardi, have a little more color. And then probably my favorite fish in here, there's actually double digits of them, although we can barely see one. There's one. These are the Synodontis petricola or Synodontis lucipinis. There's a handful of them in here. Really cool catfish from Lake Tanganyika. Move almost like a shark. Very cool and smooth in the water. One of my favorite fish, period, and definitely my favorite fish in this tank. I also have a few super reds in here somewhere, just hanging out, taking care of algae. All right, we talked about discus. Here are the discus guys. We have some fish. The clown loaches are in here that used to be in that 55-gallon over there. We also have some Congo tetras. Big shout out to Alex and Alex, local fish friends of mine that hooked me up with some of these Congo tetras. Some Harlequin rasboras, nice school of them. And then we got clown loaches, Kubatai loaches. I picked these up a little over a month ago now. I'm actually getting ready to set them up in a quarantine tank. I noticed a little fuzz on the back of one of their tails, and I am by no means an expert fish keeper, especially when it comes to discus. So better safe than sorry. They were looking good. I thought they were fine. I did some extra water changes on this tank, but it's been a few days and I haven't noticed any improvements. So if you can see that there, that little spot on this guy's tail, I don't like that. I'm gonna move them. I literally set this up earlier today and I'm bringing it up to temperature right now. Got the heater in there, just a little 20-gallon or so quarantine tank for them. I got it just, gonna be nice and secure for them, and I'll treat that water rather than treat this whole tank. But excited. This is one of the few tanks that's kind of set up. I'm not a freaking aquascaper, guys, but this one's kind of set up. That's one of the reasons why I'm getting away from this gallery style, is because my focus, what I'm passionate about, what drives me, what I stay motivated to do is not manicure tanks and aquascape tanks and make them look super pretty. That's just not me. I like to get them to breed. I like doing I don't mind doing the water changes. I like creating the systems and trying to unlock the codes for different fish. And I definitely that's why I want to mess around with some Apistos and try my hand at that and start branching off into other fish. I got a local fish friend he's gonna breed some tetras, so I may learn from him. But just trying to stick with what I enjoy and what kind of what I like in the hobby. Over here are some super red Pleco grow outs. There's a few different sizes in here. My favorite thing in this tank, though, to be honest, it's not the super red Plecos, even though they're beautiful and they're my babies for sure. I'm very proud of my super red Plecos. There's some larger ones in here, but it's not the guppies either. These are cool guppies. I like these guppies. It's the cherry shrimp. The cherry shrimp in this tank are my favorite cherry shrimp in the fish room right now. This guy's not really doing them justice, but these are a crimson red. They weren't sold as a Bloody Mary. However, they have that look. These are the offspring, the first offspring, and they're looking very promising. That's a very tiny shrimp,
and it's already showing a very good amount of red coverage. I know the lighting is not the best here. That's another red shrimp. You can see a red dot. I know the lighting sucks. Down there is more guppies and super reds. The lighting is terrible, so I won't even attempt, but it's more super red grow outs and more guppies. Over here, more grow outs. We got another strain of guppies. I'll show, this is one of my favorite strains of guppies. This is a 3/4 black round tail. Nothing crazy, no crazy colors, just kind of 3/4 black. The females to the right, the males to the left, and we got a bunch of grow outs here. But those guys actually won first place in round tails at the 2019 Florida Fancy Guppy Association show, and they took home 3rd place overall in the entire show. So very excited and lucky to have them. The final time we'll be going over the tanks in this rack system as we know it. But before we do that, let's take a look at some of the tanks that are new. I think those tanks are new since the last tour. These are also new. This will be another Pleco grow out tank because Plecos. And then up top here, probably more Pleco grow out tanks eventually. But right now I moved over the dwarf neon rainbow fish as well as some guppy strain that I got in, and they're going to be temporarily sitting here for a week or two until I switch out everything and I add some more tanks, because essentially what we're going to have here is 24 20-gallon tanks. So we're going to double our gallon capacity in this rack system right here. In the same exact spot, we'll be able to double the amount of gallons we have. Let's take a look at this tank. This is where the dwarf neon rainbow fish used to be. These are a brand new fish in the fish cave just for the last few weeks ago. These are a Cuban livebearer, the yellow belly variant. They're a black chin livebearer. These are like the yellow belly variant. Got these from my buddy Ocoee Aquatics, Jose. Big shout out to him. They're super cool. Hoping to breed these guys out. Like I said, they're a livebearer. Jose has bred them, so I'm hoping to have luck just like he did. Pretty neat fish. The females, not super colorful, but the males get a nice yellow belly, and one of Jose's males, the dominant male, has a nice black chin with the yellow, so that black and yellow kind of looks pretty neat. Moving down, endlers, guys. Some people hate them, but if you love them, you love them. Endlers, I love them. These are the red-chested endlers. These are available at wildfishtanks.com. Have these guys been working on this strain? This is the first strain of livebearer / guppy / whatever you want to call it that I really decided to like work with and try to, alter. I didn't create this strain, but I'm trying to really improve it and make the forked tails or the double swords more elongated. Pretty much every male that's popping out is breeding true. Most of them have a almost double, almost a full length double swords. Some are longer than others, but really active, pretty fish for a planted tank. Going down one, we got some livebearers again. We got some of these swordtails and platies. These are the ones that were actually collected wild with Corey at Aquarium Co-op right in a pond in downtown Orlando, believe it or not. Probably these were released by someone at one point, and maybe they bred and the offspring were then caught and collected by us. But pretty neat. Really love this this big boy swordtail. Before I get down there, we'll save that for last. That's one of the reasons why I'm switching things up. Let me explain to you guys a few reasons why we're changing it up. Number one, be able to double the gallons on automatic water change is huge. That'll be a lot easier on me. It'll make me be able to grow fish a lot quicker, a lot healthier. I don't have issues with diseases really, except for these discus. I haven't had to medicate anything or treat anything in months and months and months, because I normally, don't bring in too much stuff and I quarantine things for a long time. But as I'm branching out with new fish, and obviously discus are a little more challenging, I don't mind going through the motions, and you got to go through these things to learn and get better and become a better aquarist. So that's my journey. That's what I'm doing. And another reason I'm switching this up is I'm getting ready to the bottom level. I'm only going to do 1, 2, 3 high and not the 4th on the bottom. It's too much to get down on the floor all the time, and just make it more efficient. So if we go over first before we hit the bottom level, this tank is full of orange shrimp. It's a little cloudy, and that's another reason why I'm switching up some of these tanks. I'm going to be keeping majority of these tanks as is. I'll drain them and keep them, but there'll be a few tanks I'll let you know, like this one right here, that one up there, I'm going to be just breaking down totally. And I've been combating this milky water in a few of these tanks for, it seems like months now. And I think what finally bit me in the butt is the dirted tanks I did a year and a half, 2 years ago. And some of the tanks where I put a little too much dirt, as you can see, there's a lot of dirt there. That one I went a little dirt crazy. This tank was booming for a while, then it kind of crashed on me. And I've heard this, like I said, I've been around, you know, I've done a lot of things it seems like, but I'm still a freaking newbie. I've only been doing this a few years. So, you know, I learned the hard way that a little too much dirt, maybe it's a great tank for a while, but, you know, it kind of booms and then crashes. And I think that's what I'm dealing with in a lot of these tanks, because the shrimp are doing phenomenal. I got my seed shrimp or ostracod culture in here. It's doing great. I literally, it's a 10-gallon tank. 3 times in a week, I did a 50% water change, and I still get cloudy water. And I've done other water changes, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Like I said, the shrimp are booming, but I have a feeling that it's just kind of, in some of these tanks where I had a lot of dirt, and I dirted them maybe a little too much, it's catching up with me after a while. But plenty of orange shrimp in this tank. It's kind of hard to see them because the substrate kind of washes them out. But I'll stick my hand in there, and you can see, you know, the shrimp moving around. There's quite a bit of them in here. They're usually in here too. But the orange shrimp seem to be breeding well for me. They don't breed as readily as some of the reds. But I did recently pull out some of the nicer orange shrimp. That's a red or an orange male. And there's some really nice orange females hiding in here somewhere. I took out a few buried orange females. There's one right there. But this will be my next orange shrimp tank. That's the goal with this 20 long. Moving up, we have another 20 long with some guppies. These are some Dumbo ears that I also got at the guppy show last year. Got a trio in here. As you can see, they've been pumping them out pretty good. Trying to get as much guppy grass as I can lately, because just help with them if they predate against their fry. This tank is empty. I'm already kind of started the breakdown process of some of these tanks that I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna break down this one totally. The 3/4 black guppies were in here, and I moved them to that 55. We already saw them. This is a tank with some endlers, some rainbow endlers. Like I said, they'll find a new home in the fish cave. I'm keeping them. But this tank itself is going to get broken down. Same with this tank right here, going to get broken down. This tank right here, going to get broken down. I'm going to keep all these cherry shrimp, obviously. This tank looks a freaking mess, but as you can see, I mean, there's some really nice shrimp in here. Some of these adult shrimp. I bought this colony as a Bloody Mary colony, well over a year ago, and I try to cull and cull and cull as much as possible. And like I said, I know it's ridiculously cloudy and what have you. However, you can see some of the shrimp in here are pretty decent quality. Moving down to this 10-gallon, we have some more guppies. These are a delta tail guppy. They don't necessarily, these guys don't breed true. I think they're a cool, fun-looking guppy, but the males don't all exactly look the same. Moving to the left, this tank is home to our pygmy sunfish, as well as a few blue Neocaridina cherry shrimp. Pygmy sunfish that Ocoee Aquatics, Jose and I caught a while back. I'll link that video in the description down below. That was probably one of my favorite collecting trips. Probably my favorite collecting trip. That was a blast. Got out in the kayaks. And then we caught this pygmy sunfish and thought it was a female. And you let me know down in the comments, because it's getting pretty dark, and a few times I've seen it, and I'm thinking it might be a male. So I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments down below. Should we start from the left? No, let's start from the right. Let's go over here. And this tank was never officially set up. This tank, when I set up the fish cave, I kind of just had a bunch of extra substrate from a bunch of tanks, threw it in here, and there must have been like a shrimp or two that I didn't notice. And then, I mean, this is years ago, 2 years ago now. And, you know, a few months later, I noticed like there was like shrimp, a dozen or two shrimp. I was like, that's weird. And then ever since then, it's been a booming shrimp tank for me. So looks disgusting. It literally is just a bunch of mixed substrate from tanks. I never even set this tank up. There's a piece of wood or here, whatever, for a while. But as you can see, cherry shrimp seem to be doing really, really good. I mean, there was, like I said, some more plants and wood. I'm already in the process of starting to break these tanks down to move them and reset them, because I don't want to do everything at once. But that's kind of where we're at. We got some mystery snails and ivory mystery snails in here, blue and ivory, some babies. I let one clutch hatch over here. There's also some blue cherry shrimp down there. The blue cherry shrimp in here aren't booming like the oranges by any means, but they're hanging on. But I've been transferring them to different tanks. I have some blue cherry shrimp here. Like I said, there was some in the tank with the pygmy sunfish. And then there's also some back over there in that 55 gallon with those hill streams. If we keep it moving down to here, you guys haven't seen these fish yet. These are the gold white cloud mountain minnows. These are the sole thing that I purchased at the Tampa Bay Aquarium Society auction. I'm still gonna put that video out. I shot myself in the foot with that one, guys. I filmed so many short little clips that, like, I looked at the editing and I just wanted to, like, just crawl into a ball and cry. But I promised I would get it out there. It was an amazing, amazing event. Tampa Bay Aquarium Society is my aquarium society that I belong to. Amazing individuals, great, great, great group. And I will get that video edited and out. I just kind of set myself up for failure there by how I filmed it. We have our Florida flagfish. These guys are in here with a Mad Tom catfish as well. These guys are gonna get upgraded to a 20 gallon, as is every tank when we move over. But excited to kind of set these guys back up again and give them some more space and do a little something with them, as definitely still passionate about the natives. A tank you'll be seeing soon will be the 55 gallon tank I have in my house. I still only have the 2 tanks in the house, the 55 gallon native tank, and then a 29 gallon tank that has some cherry shrimp and a pair of super red bristlenose plecos. I appreciate you guys watching as always. I know I was gone from YouTube for a few months. I always stay uploading on Instagram every single day. When things get busy and I got all these tanks to take care of and personal life going on, unfortunately, one of the first things to go is the editing, and that's just life right now. Eventually, I hope to make that not happen, but I appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, if you want the daily dose of the Fish Cave, IG, always where it's at. Appreciate the support, people reaching out to me when I hadn't been uploading. I'm excited for 2020 and some of the changes to come here in the Fish Cave. Also have met some really cool people lately. I don't want to spoil anything, but got some pretty cool videos planned as far as some trips to some new farms, some people working in some commercial spaces. I don't know. We'll see what 2020 brings us. But if you guys want to check out some more Fish Cave antics, always right there. Other videos, check out some more Fish Cave tours right there. As always, guys, stay positive and stay passionate.